Hello everyone, welcome to SIUK India webinar. Thank you for joining us. We are now live with University of Surrey. Today we have Annie and Dr. Milan with us. They will be taking us through this webinar. We'll answer all the questions after the presentation during the Q&A session. So let's start the webinar. Over to you, Annie.
Thank you so much, Ikti, for the warm welcome. We're delighted to be here today. My name is Annie Kennington and I work in the international recruitment team here at the University of Surrey. And I'm delighted to be taking you through all of the main selling points about Surrey. Why should you be interested in our fantastic institution? And I am very pleased to be joined by one of our stellar academics, Dr. Milan. Milan, would you like to say a quick hello, and we'll hear from you more shortly?
Of course, Annie. Hello from me. I'm Milan Antonievich, and I'm a program leader for MSc in Pharmaceutical Sciences, but more about that in a few minutes.
Absolutely, yes. Pharmaceutical Sciences is one of our new, very exciting programs. And as well as talking to you more generally about the university today, we are going to be focusing on that in particular. But the main message today is really to reassure you that we are still open for applications to our postgraduate February 2024 intake. And we have a wide variety of master's programs on offer in two of our faculties, arts and social sciences, and also engineering and physical sciences, of which Milan is our resident expert today. So the popular subject areas here are just highlighted on the screen in front of you. And we have a helpful February 2024 landing page on our website, which we can certainly share in the chat very shortly for you to go and have a look at. But coming on now to look at this in more detail. So this is the exact course list. So if you're interested in pursuing a master's degree in business or marketing, we have a whole range of programs on offer to provide the specialty that is of interest to you. Similarly, in chemical and process engineering, and of course in chemistry. So we have two versions available, and Milan is going to talk us through that very shortly. Just to highlight that our courses with the February intake would begin in early February, and the full-time version of the programme, where it's a taught masters would last for 12 months. So you would be studying with us from February 2024 until the very end of January 2025, unless, of course, the course has the industrial practice year, which Milan's going to come on to shortly. But just now onto the second page of our course list, you'll see here, very popular subject areas such as data science, financial data science, and a lot of our civil engineering programs, which really offer that specialty. So if you're looking to specialize water engineering, bridge engineering, Surrey is the place for you. And then in electrical engineering, we have our very popular artificial intelligence MSc, along with options to specialize in computer vision, or perhaps environment and sustainability is more of interest to you. And last but no means least, our hospitality events and tourism management program, very highly ranked, top in the UK and second in the world in the Shanghai rankings. So if a hospitality master's is for you, rest assured that Surrey has that prestige and expertise to be able to deliver a really engaging and exciting programme for you. But without further ado, we're going to hear now what is pharmaceutical science. So Milan, I'm going to hand over to you to talk us through these next few slides. I know the course is a real passion for you. It's a great area for us here at Surrey, and I'm sure everyone on the call is looking forward to learning more about how they could be joining us on this course in really a matter of weeks.
Okay, thank you, Annie. Well, thank you very much for that introduction. I would now guide you through the postgraduate courses in Department of Chemistry, School of Chemistry and Chemical Engineering. Two programs that we recently developed are MScs in Pharmaceutical Sciences and MSc in Pharmaceutical Sciences with the industrial practice. As Annie pointed out, the difference is in the length of the course. One is a 1-year program, and other one is a 2-year program where you're going to spend the second year in the industry. But more about that in a second. Let's go through the basic program and understand the most important features of this program. First of all, pharmaceutical sciences are all around the world. and you've been clearly noticing a lot of involvement during the COVID of people working in the pharmaceutical industry, trying to get the vaccine out as soon as possible, being, first of all, safe and kind of useful to mankind, but also making sure that mass production is achieved in a short period of time. And in our program, we're going to look actually through the life of the medicine from drug discovery, looking at how we generate new drug entities, how we then create those new drug entities, then from creation of the molecule, how we assess the best formulation, and then move on to scaling up to manufacture, and in the end, quality control of the end product. So quite a lot of in a year, but I hope that majority of you who enroll on this program will enjoy every single day on the program and learn quite a lot about pharmaceutical sciences. What is extremely important for our program is that it's developed based on my 14 years of experience leading those programs at previous institution, University of Greenwich, where I was a program leader, and I polished now a program and made it to better suit students. First of all, a majority of program is done based on hands-on approach, i.e. learning by doing. Every single module involves lab component, and you will be involved in formulating, analyzing formulations, using NMR and other high-tech instruments to analyze drug molecules. And of course, in each of those labs, we have artificial intelligence embedded, i.e. we're going to teach you how to use the latest softwares to predict a new drug structure, to actually understand, design of experiment, to shorten your time for method development, and so on and so forth. So without any further ado, let's talk about the real business of entry requirements. First of all, you need to know that fees are $16,000 for the one-year program. And Annie will probably later on discuss or mention some discounts you may get
Absolutely.
at particular points if you pay and enroll in advance. Entry requirements are minimum two UK honors degrees, and mainly I look for students who already have BSc degrees in pharmaceutical sciences, pharmacy, chemistry. But I recently noticed that from India, quite a lot of students are coming from chemical engineering side, and I looked through their applications and they look strong. So I would encourage, chemical engineering or industrial chemistry from the UK from the India to apply for those programs. So why is this program unique, or let's say, our best or most important selling points are that, we're going to support you before, during, and after your placement in industry. So if you decide to go on to two-year program, you will get, a lot of support looking through your CVs, interview techniques, and actually going with you through applying for jobs and actually securing those jobs, or better say, industrial practice placements. Then everything that we do is academically relevant. We have quite a lot of colleagues coming from industry to teach on this particular program. So the latest knowledge from industry is applied onto our modes of delivery and modules that we deliver. We have quite a lot of industrial partners from all around UK. It says there, 2,300 partners, but not all of them are pharmaceutical sciences. However, let's assure that, we definitely cover all of the major pharmaceutical industries, as well as a lot of small and medium enterprises, which play important role in education and application of knowledge of our students. Practice year is often, paid, and students are expected actually to be paid during that year in industry. One thing that wasn't on that slide, but I'm going to mention, actually, a fee for two-year program is 19,000. So it's 3,000 extra, which covers the administration of that extra year and helping you secure the placement. Let's now talk about our facilities. We are extremely well equipped with the modern technologies, and you see here a photo of students in one of the industrial settings at the university, where we teach our students how to actually work and kind of split jobs in industry in an almost real life situation. So we have, pilot plant that works at the faculty of, or better say, School of Chemical Engineering, and that plant actually has a turnover of probably 300 students throughout the year. So quite popular, and a lot of students and external organizations are coming to train their staff. Also, I would like to mention that we have a really good success at the end of studies. This is information based on our current figures. 95% of the university students, postgraduates, are in the employment or further studies. So tells you that your chance of securing job after this program is immense. And there are some quotes that I kind of produced for the leaflet. You may read them at your own leisure, but I would like to state that program is delivered based on plenty of experience, delivers a new and current knowledge in pharmaceutical sciences, and equips all students with knowledge that they would need to go straight in pharmaceutical industry. That's all from me at the moment.
Absolutely. Thank you so much there, Milan. And I think that really helps to highlight, as you've said, this program has been designed to be at the cutting edge of what industry requires. And I think that is very true of our curriculum design process overall at Surrey. And I'm looking forward to now taking through our audience about more general information on what they could expect during their time here. So thank you so much for summarising the course. And we're looking forward to answering lots more detailed questions on that shortly. So why would you choose to study at the University of Surrey? Well, first of all, our location is really convenient. So we are just over 30 minutes from London, about 35 minutes by train into the centre of London, and conveniently almost in the middle of Heathrow and Gatwick Airport. So that means it's very easy to travel to the UK from overseas. But once you are then here in our lovely town of Guildford, you are very well connected. So if you have friends or family in other parts of the UK that you'd like to go and visit for weekend trips, makes it very easy to do so. But certainly, for any of you looking at those placement year opportunities, the pharmaceutical science with industrial practice year, easily able to reach lots of the southeast of England and of course central London, thanks to the public transport infrastructure which exists. And our rankings are another key point to note. So when it comes to student satisfaction, we are 4th in the UK in the most recent National Student Survey. And I think this is testament to the support services that are on offer here, but also the academic support. So that is very much, the perfect example of academics who are approachable, very much at the forefront of research with a lot of industry experience and wanting to ensure that you get the most out of your program, that when you're working hard and you're motivated and you're really having the opportunity to excel and best propel yourself in your future career. And then looking at our rankings overall, so we are 13th in the UK in the Complete University Guide, and top 25 consistently in the UK. And in the QS rankings, we are a top 250 world university. So lots of good news stories here to write home about. Now, and Milan highlighted this earlier on, something that we have a very strong track record of at Surrey is our employability. And this applies across all subject areas and all different levels of study as well. So in the most recent graduate report, 95% of students, as Milan mentioned, are in further study or employment, and that's within a 6-month period. And of course, as you will hopefully be aware, at the moment there is the opportunity upon successfully completing your master's degree in the UK to remain in the UK on a graduate route visa for 2 years looking for work. And if you were to take the pharmaceutical science with industrial practice year, that would apply after completing your placement. So that would actually be a period of 4 years in which you would be able to, in the UK, first 2 years as part of your degree, and then 2 years on the graduate route visa, where you're hopefully getting some really valuable UK work experience to put on your CV. Okay, so we heard there about the detailed entry requirements for pharmaceutical sciences, but for nearly all of our February master's programs, we tend to accept a 2-2. There are a few that may require a 2-1 as our degree equivalents, but you can helpfully see that on our program page on the website. And when it comes to our English language requirements, we are able to accept a wide range of tests in place of IELTS. Of course, if you have a recent academic IELTS that would meet our requirements, that's fantastic, and please make sure you provide that at the point of application. However, we can sometimes consider your standard 12 to meet our English language requirements, and we take a range of online English tests as well. So Duolingo, TOEFL, and some examples to mention there. But as always, please just make sure that when you're submitting your application, you're providing your full academic history so that we're aware of all the tests that you've taken, and we can look to assess which one would meet our requirements. Now, Milan hinted earlier on that I would be talking about scholarship opportunities, clearly always very important. So perhaps some of you had been interested in Surrey for a little while. You may have even applied and received an offer for our earlier intake, the September 2023 intake, but are no longer able to take up that place. Now, if that was the case, clearly you can quickly reapply now for our February 2024 intake, where the course has that February 2024 intake, and the tuition fees where a course had the September intake will be the same. So, the exceptions there would be our new programs such as Pharmaceutical Sciences at 16,000, or if you're taking the industrial placement year, a total of 19,000, 16,000 in year one and 3,000 during the second year while you're on your industrial placement. But I'm delighted to announce that for every single full-time master's course beginning in February 2024, we have an automatic £2,000 early payment discount. Now, in order to receive this discount, you will need to firmly accept your offer that we make you for the course by the deadline that is provided to you upon receipt of that offer, and that would usually be at least a couple of weeks after receiving the offer. So we are open for applications until the 15th of December, and if you're able to get your application in this week, hopefully your deadline to accept the offer would be later on this month, so towards the end of December. And in order to firmly accept that offer, you would be required to pay a £2,000 deposit. Now, provided we receive that £2,000 deposit by the deadline, your overall tuition fees would then be reduced by £2,000. So again, to highlight the pharmaceutical sciences example, if you receive an offer, accept that with the £2,000 deposit by your deadline, that means your total fees for the 1-year program would come down to 14,000 as opposed to 16,000. And that would apply to all of our other engineering, business, hospitality programs, those in environment and sustainability as well. So every single full-time master's program beginning in February where you accept your offer by the deadline will allow you to receive a 2,000 early payment discount, and that would apply on your CAS letter. So we will reduce the fees stated on your CAS by £2,000 provided you have met that deadline. However, we also have an additional scholarship which is available, and I'm going to come on to that very shortly, but that is actually for £5,000, so a really significant discount that could be available. But rest assured that everyone would be eligible for the £2,000 discount if they are meeting up with those deadlines. So as promised, here is some further detail on the Excellence Award. So this is a £5,000 tuition fee waiver. It is application based. So whereas the £2,000 discount is automatic, the 5,000 one is is one that you would have to apply for. And you can apply for this as soon as you have received an offer. You'll see that on our website, we have the option for you to be able to submit your scholarship application. It's just a short online form where you will provide an essay in support of your scholarship application, detailing how have you demonstrated previous academic excellence, why are you so passionate about the programme, how will the program support you in your future career aspirations? And if you are successful, you would be notified by email about this. Just to note that it is unfortunately one or the other. So these 5,000 and 2,000 award cannot be combined. But if you had previously received the 2,000 early payment discount, and were then successful in receiving the £5,000 award instead, you would, of course, be able to upgrade to that. So we would always give you the scholarship of the highest value if you were offered more than one award. However, they cannot be combined. So it is one or the other. But as we mentioned, there's a £2,000 discount available for everyone who is paying by the deadline. And for those who've done particularly well in their undergraduate degree or have lots of fantastic previous experience, there is the 5,000 award for which you could be considered instead. So as an example, for Pharmaceutical Sciences, if you're paying by your deadline, that would bring your course fees down from 16,000 to 14,000. And if you went ahead and applied for the International Excellence Award, that would bring your tuition fee down to 11,000 as opposed to the original 16,000. So a really significant discount. And as I mentioned, this is available for all of the programs in our February 2024 intake. So if you have any questions about this, please don't hesitate to pop those in the chat, and we'll come to that at the end of the presentation shortly. So how do you apply? Well, SIUK can support you with the application process through looking over all of your documents, giving you lots more detailed advice. And with their support, you can then apply directly from the course page on our website. And we would encourage you to do that as soon as possible, just to maximise the window for which you will then be able to apply for your student visa. And as I mentioned previously, the deposit that we require to firmly accept the offer for courses beginning in February 2024 is £2,000. So once we make you an offer letter, we would expect you to go ahead and pay a £2,000 deposit if you wish to accept that. And that would then enable you to move to the CAS process, provided your offer is unconditional. Okay, so taking you through the key dates here now. So we've been open for applications for a little while, and the application deadline is coming up quite soon, but we've still got plenty of time for you to get your application in. 15th of December is the deadline to apply. And the 3rd of January, so when we return from the Christmas break, will be the deadline to meet the conditions of your offer if you don't have an unconditional offer already. So if you are needing to take an English language test, or you are needing to provide any final documents, that would be the absolute latest date for doing so. Hopefully you would have paid your deposit in the meantime as well. And the deadline to then complete your CAS request form, which we will send to you once we receive your £2,000 deposit, would be the 8th of January. However, if you are able to complete your CAS request form earlier, so by the 15th of December, we would then look to ensure that you can receive a CAS letter before the Christmas closure. But if you're completing your CAS request form after that date, it's likely you'd be receiving it in early January instead, early in the new year. And then early February is when you would be joining us to start your programme. There is a 2-week arrival window. However, what we would say about courses with the February intake is because sometimes you are joining for the second semester of the programme, it's even more important than usual to make sure you get here as soon as you possibly can to avoid falling behind and having a lot to catch up on. But if there are extenuating circumstances, we do have that slight bit of flexibility. But of course, just to ensure you get the best possible student experience, we would really want you to be here. for the start of February. And we can come on to that in a little bit more detail shortly. So these are just some key dates to note. And if you have any questions about that, please do not hesitate to ask. Okay, so coming on now to accommodation. We do have accommodation available on campus on a first come, first served basis for our February 2024 intake, but we also have very close links with local providers of private accommodation. So depending on your situation, depending on what you're looking for, there will hopefully be accommodation available for you throughout the entirety of your studies. So in terms of the accommodation on campus, we have 6,000 rooms on our campus. And just to put that into context, the total student population at Surrey is just over 16,000 students, and about 1 in 3 students are international. So rest assured that you are joining a really diverse, really welcoming community here at the university. And when we allocate rooms for campus accommodation, as a postgraduate student, you would be living with other postgraduate students wherever possible. So it's unlikely that you would live with undergraduates. So appreciate, you'll be on a slightly different timetable, schedule, and of course, hopefully just in terms of making those friendships and having a really great experience, we want wherever possible for you to be with like-minded individuals. The accommodation that we have available on campus at Surrey is split into different bands of accommodation. So each band has a corresponding price point and corresponding facilities. So ranging from our, budget shared rooms right up to the more expensive studio flats, which are on offer. Something to note is that all of those 7 bands of accommodation, so band A through to band F, are all self-catered. We do have lots of catering outlets on the university campus, and of course Guildford has a huge range of restaurants, cafes, bars, and food delivery services. But we would encourage you, particularly from a budgeting perspective, to be thinking about cooking the vast majority of your own meals, and the kitchen facility will be provided. There'll be the microwave in there, the cooker, and everything that you would expect other than your utensils and your crockery. That is what you would be needing to bring, or of course, perhaps looking to get that once you're in the UK, and saving on that luggage allowance, because we do have plenty of options when it comes to retail and shopping here in the Guildford town centre. As I mentioned, there are limited rooms available. So if you are keen to live on the campus, we would encourage you to apply for the programme that you're looking to study as soon as possible. Hopefully get your offer in a very short space of time. Firmly accept that offer, make sure it's unconditional, and then you can apply for a room on our campus. And we would hope to let you know as soon as possible whether or not that application has been successful, and if so, which room you have been granted. So when you apply, you will list the bands of accommodation in your preference from your first to your last preference available. And to give you an indication as to how much you would be spending on campus accommodation, these are our price points for the current academic year. As I said, there are also private accommodation options that you may wish to consider, either private halls of residence also nearby to the campus, or perhaps you have, friends or family already in Guildford, Surrey, that would be a good commutable distance. Of course, it's not compulsory to live on campus, but it is something that we would recommend considering, just for the convenience that comes with it, and also the ability to make friends pretty much as soon as you arrive, because everyone will be here in the same boat, be looking to get the most out of their master's degree and form those friendships along the way. Okay, fantastic. So these are our contact details on the screen in front of you now. So my email, and you can reach the whole international recruitment team through the same email as well. And Milan's email, if you do have any specific questions about the programme that he spoke through in detail earlier on. What I would say is, if it's relating to your application, obviously, so UK will be very happy to help, but also don't hesitate to reach out to us via international@surrey.ac.uk as well. So we hope that you have found that a useful summary about everything that the University of Surrey has to offer for the February 2024 intake. I think my final words before we come on to the Q&A section would just to be to encourage you to get that application in as soon as possible. And to say how much we appreciate you joining today's session and how delighted we would be to welcome you to our campus very, very soon. So thank you so much for listening. I'm looking forward now to hearing the questions that we've received and being able to address those.
Okay, thank you for taking out time and giving us this insightful presentation. Now time for Q&A session. I will call out the question from the YouTube chat box. So the first question is, does Surrey also have October 2024 intake for Masters in Business?
Yes, great question, and absolutely. So our September 2024 intake, as we call it, because the course would usually begin in sort of mid to late September, is available both for undergraduate, but clearly for postgraduate programs, and particularly in the business school as well. So we have a range of programs on offer, similar to those that we're offering in February 2024, but also some additional programs. So an example that comes to mind would be our MBA program, which only has the September 2024 intake. So if you're interested in that, have a look at the range of courses available on our website. And again, you can go ahead and apply now. There's no need to delay and wait for that. Just something to quickly highlight would be that in terms of accepting your offer for the autumn intake, so for September 2024, as a postgraduate student, there will be a slight increase to the deposit amount that we require compared to February, just a modest increase to £3,000 as opposed to the £2,000 to firmly accept your offer for February. So if you are successful in receiving an offer for a course beginning in September 2024, we would be delighted to receive your application and for you to go ahead and accept that. But the deposit that you'll need to pay to do so will be £3,000. Of course, when it comes to entry requirements, when it comes to fees, and for September 2024, all of that can be clearly found on our website as well. But if you have any specific questions, don't hesitate to pop a follow-up question in the chat now. Hopefully that helps.
Can we get job easily after completing Masters?
Great question, and this is, a very popular question from international students here at the university. Clearly, this is a big investment in your future, and you're looking to do this to boost your career opportunities. I think my main advice when it comes to looking for placements or for jobs, and I'm sure Milan may wish to add to this shortly, is the need to be proactive. So, pretty much as soon as you're arriving at the university, there will be options available to network and connect with employers. We have a very strong employability and careers service here at the university, and they run events throughout the year. And indeed, in February, shortly after our February 2024 cohort arrives, will be our International Student Employability Week. And this will be a range of virtual and in-person events taking place on campus, where we will have employers running drop-in sessions, networking events, and opportunities about how to really make your application stand out. So as well as the one-to-one advice that's available from academics or from the trained careers advisors within our employability and career services, we have the option for you to really get in front of the employers and hopefully make yourself stand out. And I think where you're being proactive, attending these events, being very open to receiving feedback about your CV, about your performance in a mock interview, so long as you're staying alert for the opportunities that are out there, then hopefully, you would have a good chance of securing employment shortly after your course. And another thing that the Employability and Career Service offer is our own job portal. So we have an online platform called Surrey Pathfinder, which has a range of services on offer. That has a job portal where you can look for opportunities, and our advisors are experts in finding jobs both in the UK but also overseas. So if you do have another destination in mind, they would be very happy to talk you through and give you additional support and resources about how to access that. And then my very last point, and before Milan might wish to add something, is about our strong alumni community here at the University of Surrey. So as well as support from current students and networking with your academics, you are able to join our alumni community, and we have an online platform for that called Surrey Connects, where you can receive mentoring or coaching from a previous Surrey alumnus who may have studied a very similar subject to yourself or be in a different area but work for a company that you would aspire to work for. And just having access to those connections, both obviously on Surrey Connects but also LinkedIn, we find can really help when it comes to your employability prospects. And Milan, I don't know if there's anything that you'd like to add.
Well, you were extremely comprehensive. I cannot add a lot, but I would reiterate that students need to be proactive. Those who are proactive would succeed, and I would probably add something that it's kind of pertinent to my MSc Pharmaceutical Sciences with Industrial Practice program, is that all those students who enroll onto 2-year program will have in a year one employability module, which they don't need to be proactive. We will force them to be proactive. We will make sure that they complete CVs, engage with our external partners. We're going to engage a company, external company, to work with us to find relevant placements for our students, prepare our students for interviews, and even after interviews, talk with our students and kind of provide them a feedback that they received from the company and upgrade their skills. So quite a lot of these things will be forced upon our students with industrial practice, but that's for their benefit. And I believe that they would all appreciate the effort we are putting in to make sure that they succeed in life once they complete their degree.
Absolutely, sounds great.
Okay, so next question is, can you please tell me the deadline for January 2024 intake? Also, if there is any scholarship available.
Yes, of course. So, just to reiterate the really key dates to bear in mind for anyone wishing to join us on a programme that begins in February 2024. The deadline to submit your application is the 15th of December, but you could go ahead and submit your application this evening. So please don't delay. Get that application in as soon as you possibly can, and provide all of the required documents as soon as possible, but we can accept documents up until early January. You will then need to pay a £2,000 deposit to firmly accept your offer. Upon receipt of that deposit, we will ask you to complete our CAS request form, which will capture all of your passport details and other information that we would need to go ahead and issue a CAS letter. And the deadline for doing that will be the 8th of January to ensure that you then still have enough time to apply for your visa and get here for the start of the course in early February. When it comes to scholarship opportunities, absolutely, we have our £2,000 early payment discount, which would be automatic for anyone paying their £2,000 deposit by the deadline. And for anyone who is looking for a further scholarship, particularly if you have a very strong performance in your undergraduate degree or lots of relevant standout work experience, you can apply through our website by completing a short form with a scholarship essay to be considered for a £5,000 award. So that one is application based, it's competitive, it's not automatic, whereas the £2,000 discount is automatic provided you've met the deadline. And again, just to confirm, it would be one award or the other. They unfortunately cannot be combined, but if you do receive an offer for both, you can of course accept the award of the higher value for £5,000. So key dates to remember: 15th of December as your deadline to submit the application, and you're then aiming to arrive to start the course on Monday, the 5th of February. Anyone looking to live on campus accommodation would be moving in just before that, so on Saturday the 3rd or Sunday the 4th of February. And anyone who will be staying in private accommodation in Guildford, Surrey, or other local areas, again, we would encourage you to think about arriving in late January or very early February to ensure that you can get settled, because your classes will begin from day one. So from Monday, the 5th of February, you will have your timetable and you will have all your important sessions to be attending to, help familiarize yourself with the labs, getting to know all of your academics, and of course, hearing about those key dates for when your coursework must be submitted. And of course, if we come back to the pharmaceutical sciences example, where it's made up of continuous assessments, it's really important to make sure you're arriving early so that you're not missing any of those crucial lab sessions and can keep up with all of your deadlines. So hopefully that answers that question.
Okay. So who are the top employers after completing MBA?
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, we work with a whole host of companies here at Surrey. We partner with over 2,300 organisations to deliver placement years, shorter internships, graduate schemes as well. And I think for, a program such as the MBA, our graduate employers are very varied, both in the UK and overseas. But actually, the MBA, probably more so than other program, is also a great option if you are thinking about entrepreneurial ventures. We have a student enterprise team here at the university who can support you with plans for that after completing the program, obviously being very conscious of the limitations of your student visa regarding any work activity in the UK. So I think, whether you were looking to join a really big, multinational corporation, join a startup here at our Surrey Research Park in Guildford, which is actually just off the university campus, or, yourself look at entrepreneurial ventures, then, what the MBA does particularly well is, as a cohort, linking you up with those recent graduates and also the wider alumni community to ensure that you're benefiting from all of that support, as well as employers who will come in to deliver talks during the program.
Can I enroll for MBA without any work experience?
Good question. So unfortunately, that would not be possible for our MBA program. So for the full-time MBA program, we do require a minimum of 3 years work experience in a managerial role, in addition to your academic credentials. However, if you are looking for a program similar to an MBA and simply lack the work experience needed, we have quite a few other programs that I would be happy to recommend, including our 1-year management MSc program, which begins in September 2024, or our international business management MSc program, and that has an intake very soon in February 2024, but also in the autumn intake as well. So if you're looking for a program similar to an MBA in terms of, that overall business experience, and simply don't have the work experience yet and don't want to put off furthering your education, then they would be two of the options in particular to look at. Or of course, if there's an aspect of the MBA such as the marketing, the finance in which you'd like to specialize, investment management comes to mind, then have a look at those programs on our website, as all of the other business programs do not require work experience. It's only the MBA where we need 3 years in a managerial role after graduation.
For international students, is there any help to find jobs in the UK after graduation or during the studies?
Yeah, so I think we've touched on this slightly with one of the previous questions in terms of our employability and careers centre that we have here at the university that students can access right from the word go. And that would apply to, looking for perhaps a small part-time job alongside their studies, where they're able to balance that in terms of their time, but also, of course, looking for the placement and graduate route option. And Milan, I mean, you spoke earlier about the employability module that will be compulsory within the degree, which I think is such a great initiative. Do you want to just cover a little bit more about how you're partnering in terms of finding placement year opportunities?
Yes, of course, it will be my pleasure. So what we are doing, we are actually partnering with external company Twin Group, and Twin Group is part of governmental associated groups looking at um, equipping workforce with relevant skills. So they have a massive pool of companies that they work with, and they are understanding the market needs. So they're not only looking at our students and actually explaining them, how to create CV. They're telling them what are the demands and telling them what are the skills they need to acquire throughout their studies, what to pay attention to, and what to actually expand outside of the normal curricula in order to secure those placements and jobs at the end. And I think the question that we just received is really good. That links actually to the success our students have to getting into a 1 year placement, but then actually staying in that post after completing that year because students like the placement and employers like the students. So they then, seal the new deal. And usually that lasts for another 2 years because students are entitled to work in the UK during that period. I don't have a lot of experience what happens after those 2 years because, quite often, some students decide to move away. As soon as you get, some experience, you see you are more confident and you can easily apply for other jobs. And that's actually what I saw in the last 2-3 years, where students are, even during the placement, already securing a next job in a, for them, better company, better paid, or job that they wanted to. So there are quite a lot of opportunities. Help is always there. Academic members of staff will support by writing CVs, and of course, the Twin Group will help them a lot to understand where the future is going on the market. Not only scientifically we're going to cover, but market needs. Then external market evaluators will help those students who are interested to know more. Thanks.
Okay, is accommodation guaranteed? How much do students typically pay in rent?
Yeah, good question. So for our February 2024 intake, we have a limited number of rooms available on campus. So accommodation on campus is not guaranteed, but it will be allocated on a first come, first served basis. So any students who are applying for their program very soon, going ahead and accepting that, will then be in a position where they can apply for campus accommodation. And if they're doing that, very soon in the next week or so, I would hope they would have a fairly good chance of receiving a room offer on campus. They're leaving it later, and then it may be that, unfortunately, we are having to recommend looking at off-campus accommodation options. Whereas for the future intake of September 2024, yes, accommodation on campus would be guaranteed, provided students meet certain deadlines. And anyone applying at this stage and accepting their offer very shortly would certainly be comfortably meeting those deadlines. In terms of the second part of the question regarding how much do students pay on rent, well, and the price for campus accommodation on our website is listed per week. And just to help in terms of planning for that would usually then be split into 4 installments across the year as a postgraduate student. So approximately every 3 months or so, you would be paying for your next installment of accommodation. And the price you see per week, clearly there's a big range depending on the type of room that you're looking for. It does include all of your bills. So it includes, electricity, water, Wi-Fi, insurance, on top of that, you will then just need to factor in, the importance of your food, your additional spending money, for going out, and perhaps for any transport if you want to go into London at the weekend or visit friends and family. But the amount you're seeing on the website is inclusive of all those core bills, so that should help in terms of the budgeting. And as I said, you're then paying that approximately every 3 months or so, through the same method as you would be paying your tuition fee installments. If you're looking for off-campus accommodation, again, you should see prices advertised usually per month, but of course the important question there to be asking the provider is whether or not they include any bills, as it's usually more common in the UK that if you're living in, for example, a shared house in the private rental sector, the rent often would not include bills like water or your electric. So you would then just have to factor that in on top. There are some contracts where that would be sort of all inclusive. Again, just a really clear distinction for you to make when you're speaking to those landlord property agents in terms of your budget and what you're looking for.
So I have covered all the questions from YouTube chat box. Thank you for answering all the questions so well. Do you want to share any final words?
Yeah, I think from myself, just a big thank you to SIUK for organising this session. We have partnered with them for a number of years and to really recommend their services for anyone who's looking for additional support with the application. And of course, to not delay with that application, particularly if you are looking for February 2024. So to ensure that you can get that £2,000 early payment discount, let's get your application in as soon as possible, and we would be delighted to see you on campus early next year. Milan, anything from you?
Well, I can definitely say a big thank you from my side as well for the host, first of all, and then for all those who eagerly joined us and learned quite a lot about the University of Surrey. And I look forward to see as many of them as possible in February, if not February, then September 2024.
Definitely. Thank you all so much, and we hope you have a brilliant rest of your evening.
Thank you so much everyone for your valuable time. All the audience, if you have any further question, please feel to contact SIUK India office. For more update, do follow us on our social media handles. Bye bye. Take care.